The Minnesota Twins are trading Luis Arraez, batting champion, all-star, 3 years of team control left still, to the Miami Marlins for Pablo Lopez. He has 2 years of team control, right-handed starting pitcher, and a couple prospects. One of them is quite exciting. But before we get into hashing through all this stuff, I just want to point out that it's okay. It's okay to take a minute to be sad. I'm sad. That's my initial reaction to this. Is that it's sad. I'm really bummed that we're not going to see Luis Arraez playing for the Twins next year. We didn't get to say goodbye to him, really. That's another thing that's kind of a bummer with these trades. We'll see him come through town again, but it's sad. And I think that's a completely normal reaction, no matter what you think about the trade in particular. My main thing is I wish they would have found another way to do this. I wish there was another way they could have found to address the pitching further that didn't include Luis Arraez, but at the same time, you got to give something to get something. I think the Twins won this trade. I do. I really think the Twins won this trade. If you would have asked me, I would have guessed that if either side is adding prospects, it would have been the Twins having to give up more to get Pablo Lopez, to be honest with you, just because. But let's strip away some of the emotion here and talk about just the profile of these guys. It's a lot easier to find, a second baseman, first baseman, DH guy than it is an established big league starting pitcher. I mean, we talk about how much the Twins need pitching. Every team needs pitching. But we talk about how much the Twins need pitching all the time, how much they've struggled to develop it. It is not easy to develop. It is not easy to acquire. So I totally get it. And again, this Jose Salas, the main prospect they got in this trade, he's going to be a slam dunk top 10 prospect for me for the Twins. I think some people will have him in the top 5. I don't think I'm going to get that far on him, but at the same time, if you ask me, am I making this trade? I think if you watch my last video, you all know no. I'm figuring out a different way to address pitching. I'm figuring out a way to do this without trading Luis Arraez. And, I'm definitely not getting a pitcher as good as Pablo Lopez, taking that route. But I think I'm getting someone Pablo adjacent, we'll say. As sad as I am about Luis Arraez, we do get a new guy coming into the big club, Pablo Lopez. We get to learn about him. Maybe he'll sweep us up off our feet. The early returns are pretty good. Let's see what he said about the trade.
Every Venezuelan kid grew up a Johan Santana fan. I have vivid memories of watching him in my TV when I was little with a Twins uniform. So I am very, very excited to be a part and be a Minnesota Twin.
So hey, I guess we can say he's already a Twins fan from way back. So in my last video I talked about Michael Wacha mainly because he's the best free agent on the starting pitcher on the market still. Not that he's not as good as Pablo Lopez, not at all. But you could have kept Arraez and added Wacha. I just would have liked to have seen something like that. If we want to really go back and play, hindsight's 2020. The Twins could have signed somebody like Andrew Heaney or Nathan Eovaldi, who I don't think are as good as Pablo Lopez, but I think they're in that class. As far as Lopez goes, he had 180 innings last year. It's pretty impressive these days in particular, and innings are, a bit of a concern for the Twins. Even some of the guys that pitched well last year didn't throw a whole lot of innings. So that's really nice to see. He did tail off. A lot as the year went on. Started out great and then really faded. I don't know if that was, a workload thing where he just kind of faded as the year went on just because he threw so many innings. We're going to find out. I guess we're going to find out. As far as the lineup goes, it's looking like probably Alex Kirilloff at first base or Joey Gallo at first base, maybe. Obviously they could make some more moves. Luke Voigt's out there, who's a guy I think could make sense for the Twins as a first base DH. But I wish they would have taken more into account that this might happen. I don't get why you didn't keep Gio Urshela in this case. You could have had him play third now and just kept Jose Miranda at first base. Kind of in that same vein, they could have also, pursued Jose Abreu, Anthony Rizzo, Josh Bell, Brandon Belt among the free agent first baseman that already signed. I'd feel a little bit better about the lineup if one of those guys were in there. But maybe this is a good sign about Alex Kirilloff's wrist. Maybe that's the positive thing, is they're so confident that Kirilloff's going to be back. That he's going to lock in at first base and just be amazing there. Who knows? But this is a very familiar feeling these last couple of years. The last 18 months, the last 18 months, the Twins have traded for Joe Ryan, Sonny Gray, Chris Paddock, Tyler Mahle, and now Pablo Lopez. An entire rotation's worth of starting pitchers the Twins have traded for in the last 18 months. Yes, and Derek Falvey, it seems to really have a knack for making these type of trades. I don't love them. Again, I'm a prospects guy, and I still would rather see them, at the state that they're in right now, trade prospects for major league pieces, keep the major league guys, trade the prospects, and try to really push forward a bit more for this year. But you get a starting pitcher, you get an established starting pitcher, you get a really nice prospect in this deal. It's hard for me to be too upset about the decision to make the trade. I'm sad. I'm still sad. I'm going to need some time. Now, I know a lot of people ask, what's next? How does this impact this guy, that guy? I realized that the Twins had 5 guys in the rotation before today. No, they're not going to make it to opening day. There's a 0% chance all 6 of these dudes are healthy on opening day. It just is so rare these days, especially. So many guys, get injured and miss some time. Somebody's probably going to be sore or, come into camp a little bit behind and maybe need more time to ramp up. I think Sonny Gray was in that case last year. It'll work itself out. As far as, again, where Pablo Lopez slots in, I think he's very similar to Gray. I think he's similar to Mahle. I think he's similar to Ryan. I think they're all in a very similar class. Who's my opening day starter? Who do I think the best guy is? Probably Tyler Mahle is who I would say. Maybe Sonny Gray should get the opening day start because he's the veteran, and that's kind of like an honor to bestow upon him. Pablo Lopez doesn't push the ceiling of this rotation a ton. He does help out, but I do think he raises the floor up, certainly. And the Twins have a good-looking rotation that's nice and deep. So, yeah, I'm sad, but I'm still very excited. I'm excited for this Twin season. I'm excited for a front office that continues to try to push this team forward and tries to find ways to use its excess, its positions of strength to address maybe its weaknesses or thinner spots. And I think that's what this trade did. Even though I would have done it differently, I'm not upset about the trade in itself. I'll miss Luis Arraez, though. Thank you so much for watching this video. Shout out to all of the channel members. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. Here are the premium members here. Talk again soon.